Yeah, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the Siddha Multiversity series of webinars. My name is Shri Gupta and I am the Program Director for Siddha Multiversity. And today's speaker is Dr. Shan Lakshmanan. He is the Vice Chancellor or the President of the university. Dr. Shan is a Siddha expert. And if you are familiar with Marma technology, it's a precursor of acupuncture, acupressure. And it's a very powerful technique. It was developed essentially in southern India. It is developed by sage scientists who were full of wisdom. And I don't know how they came up with all this Nadi system and the Marma system, and Dr. Shan will tell you more about it. But it is an amazing system, and Dr. Shan has healed many, many people across the globe. He has learned this technique and he has done extensive research in this technique and also in the ancient wisdom of India. After doing his PhD at the NJIT in New Jersey, so he is very, very active in the Siddha Multiversity. The purpose of the university is to form a bridge between the ancient wisdom and modern science. So I'm sure you'll enjoy this talk for today. And with this brief introduction, I welcome Dr. Shan to tell us more about this technique.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Siddha Healing Webinar Series. So this is a series we wanted to have on a monthly basis so that, people can learn important things that are unknown in this world so far, the potential of our ancient knowledge, our sage scientist knowledge. So today, our topic is to unlock the body's natural healing power with Varma, Marma. So we will just start with a moment of silence, connecting with the consciousness and all our sage scientists. So just close your eyes. Link with the consciousness, the space surrounding us, penetrating everywhere. Link with the Guru Mandala, sage scientist, sage doctors who are thousands and thousands dedicate their life. அறிவேதான் தெய்வம் என்றார் தாயுமானார், அகத்ததுதான் மெய்ப்பொருள் என்று எடுத்து காட்டி வரிவதனை அறிவித்தார் திருவள்ளுவர். அவ்வறிவேறிவதற்கு முறைகள் சொன்னார் அறிஞர் திருமூல். அவ்வறிவில் ஆழ்ந்து ஆனந்த கவியாத்தார் ராமலிங்கர். அறிவில் அறிவாய் அறம்பகுத்தோர் வாழ்ந்து காட்டினோர் நினைவு கூர்வோம். Rub your hands. with the blessings of our sage scientist, we'll start this session. So, how many of you have heard the word Marma or Varma? And what is your understanding? You can chat. Use the chat link. Have you heard, first of all? Had the word Marma or Varma? Okay. Yes. Sendil says yes. Sarvan Kumar, yes. Rekha, yes. Energy points to the body. Okay. Well, at least few people responding. That's good. What about others? Have you heard? Varma, Marma. Oh, really? Okay. Canada, he was doing PhD in Varma. Well, wonderful. Okay. Oh, wonderful. So, how many of you know like acupressure or acupuncture? I'm surprised if nobody. Is there anybody who doesn't know? Let's keep it this way. Anybody who doesn't know acupressure or acupuncture? Right? Anybody? I don't think so, anybody, right? So that is the thing, right? Right now, we haven't globalized what is Varma and Marma, but acupuncture, acupressure are very globalized. But these techniques came from the sage scientists of India. It was developed in India. And it's not that Chinese do not agree with this. Chinese also have agreed this. They have given the right kind of respect for this. They have our sage scientist idol or the statue in China, the Shaolin Temple. So it's not different. The history also they track back, and find that this history is there. People travel, and still there is communication going on. A lot of things. Chinese, Koreans all developed this, and they advanced some of the knowledge also. So the preliminary knowledge came from acupressure, is called Marma Mudire Priyogam. It's called Marma Mudire Priyogam or Varma Mudire Priyogam. Varma, Marma are same. Varma, or kind of the same thing. So one mum, they say there is a meaning called one mum means like taking revenges. One mum. Marmam means like hidden. It's like mysterious, something mysterious within us. So that is called the Varmam. So these are not taught very openly because one of the things is that hidden science. So these need to be protected. That's why we need the protection from the our ancestors, the Siddha sage scientists. So, but today, we can't keep this also like with us. we need to take this out in the right way, right, to the world, so people can get benefited. There is always people have misused it in the past, in the present also. Every time this has happened for any technology for that matter. So we are looking at the right people taking it to for the right purpose. So that is our aim. So the information present in this session, using all the ancient Marma techniques, is intended for educational purpose only. Is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Participants are encouraged to consult a qualified healthcare provider before applying any techniques, especially if their pre-existing medical conditions are concerned. I myself and the organizers assume no responsibility for any outcome resulting from the application of these techniques. By participating in this session, attendees acknowledge that they are responsible for their own well-being and practice these methods at their own discretion. Disclaimer to be on a safer side. So the whole technique of the Siddha Varma was supposed to be founded in this last continent called the Kumari Kandam, Lemuria. So Kumari Kandam, and this is the original figure, like we track back into some of the things. So I will have this figure. Okay, so this, it is redrawn with using some minute things and some research done. But this all exist. The parts of the, if you look at like Tenkunadu or Meru Malai, Meru Mountain, these all exist in the map. So this kind of continent existed. And they also talk about in the world history also, they talk about something like, a continental drift. There was a fight between some two kind of, like they talk in ancient Indian texts like Rakshasas and Devas, those kind of things, they talk in the modern version also, and some people were destroyed here, things like that. Many stories are there. There's no evidence as such because nobody invested on this, or India has not invested any money for doing anything under this because of the politics nature of people from different cultural perspectives, south and north, and all these things are there. So people should be interested to do deeper research in this, but there are amazing things that still leftover part of this. The continent is found in the south tip, especially in the Tamil Nadu, Kerala areas. So some of the knowledge are deep. Recently, I happened to go to one of these places in Kerala. There's like, they have Tamil literature on the sounds, like we talk about like gong bells and all these devices in China we're making. So the first documentation is available in Tamil in one of these places, right? So we so that is something to think about, where this knowledge is coming from and what are we doing today, So the whole knowledge is supposed to have come from this, and there are other things like there was a king who used Varma. They developed the Marma. There was alchemy, ancient physics, math, everything was there. And one of the thing was that one of the king created an empire with with the soldiers trained in exclusively Marma. So these people would attack even without any tools, any sword or knife or anything, they will be able to that powerful, very powerful empire. And so that is mentioned in the ancient literature. So this is something to think about. It's not about like we are not going to use this for war or anything. That's all useless things nowadays. We can use for good purpose, right? So I would, the way we want to do this is to heal the world, which can replace many of the things. So because I have seen this kind of Marma applications that people are talented with, the people who know this, not just I'm one of the person who learned something from a very different perspective, but there are many experts. I'm not saying, I'm the only expert in this or something, there are much more greater people who do these things. But then what I found was that even in very advanced situations like, ICU conditions, like critical care, there are amazing applications that work, right? And they've used it successfully. And, but it is not coming under the modern, medical system because of the paradigm shift nature of this technique. So, right. So one of the sage scientists, Tirumular, there are many, many thousands of sage scientists. When he talks about the disease, what's a disease is, மறுப்பது உடல் நோய் மருந்து நலாகும், மறுப்பது உளநோய் மருந்தென சாலும், மறுப்பது இனி நோய் வாராதிருக்க, மறுப்பது சாவையும் மருந்து நலாமே. He says like, should, the medicine should not only heal the body's pain, but also ease the mind like gentle rain. Medicine should not only guard us well from ill's embrace, but also grant the gift of timeless grace. It's a poem that I just added a little bit of rhyme to that. But the whole idea is that it should give the timeless grace. If you're taking any medicine, right, it should give immortality. That's the whole idea of the ancient sage scientists. So they designed these techniques to advance, human evolution, actually. So so there are, in the Siddha system, it's called the femtoneurobiology. So the perspective shift is very important now. So looking at, from a different perspective, that's called the femtoneurobiology. So far, people have looked at our body from a microbiology perspective. So femtobiology is an advanced biology knowledge where they crack down the nadis. Nadis are very tiny, less than 10 power minus 15. So that's why I call it femto. It's very tinier than that. I use the femto word. That's the fanciest word right now available, like nanotechnology and all. Now, they all are like Terra and, all these things. So now we are going to femto technology, and that's going to be the next in the future, right? So I'm going to use this word, but it can change if you find, it's basically it's an atomic biology. That's the right word. Where they talk about the fundamental particles traveling through certain type of tubes called the nadis. So there are 72,000 such tubes in the body, right? 72,000 tubes and 10,800 Marma points, right? So if you look at like everything, do you have evidence on this? Not everything I have evidence. There is evidence, in written evidence is there. But for example, the 10,800 was given by a sage scientist. He said, this is not the thing, and he showed some of the points, like these points, but you check this out, right? And then there are 108 important Varma points. This is a Varma point. There are 117 in the Ayurvedic tradition called the Marma. It's all kind of the Same, there are many overlaps, but it all comes under around the 10,800 points and 12 deadly Varma points. That's why this is held at a high secret level. So how this is nadis are distributed from head to toe. They have given like clearly head how many Marma nadis go, ears how many, eyes here, nose, etc. So I'll talk something about ears, eyes, and all. And we'll see some of the applications, nose, etc. Right. So if you add all this together, it will be 72,000 nadis accurately. And they have described also how these nadis travel and touch different organs in our body. So this is like very clearly given. Not just one document, many thousands. So they compare the analogies like comparing the nadi tubes with the the sewage pipe, right? If you have a sewage pipe, what is the sewage pipe used for? Anybody? Why do we have manuals? So let me say, you know what a sewage pipe is, but why do they have manholes? What are these manholes? Can you type down? What are these manholes for? No, I'm just asking you. Yeah, to clear garbage and blockages, right? So you're clearing, you're getting in. So how do they have access? So that's called, can we call it as access points? Access point to the pipes? Can we call it access points? Right? They have access to the garbage inside, right? If anything stuck, you can take it from both sides. Otherwise, what would happen? If you don't have the manuals, what would we do? If you don't have the manuals, what would we be doing to clean? How would we clean this? Yes. So we have to cut the pipes. So that means you have to bring the pipes up, you have to remove the entire thing. So this idea of this knowledge of this pipe, etc., is coming from inside us. Actually, the whole idea of the whole world, whatever is happening, computer or flight or anything, all this knowledge are like happening inside our body. Every day things are happening. That only is coming out as a technology, right? And this type is already there. We have the Marma nadis are the tubes and Varma points are the access nodes where you can access inside the tubes. And what is flowing in the garbage? It's not a garbage. Here we are trying to get into the energy. Vada nadi, Pitta nadi, Kapha nadi means that the Vada air flow, water flow, like liquid flow, not necessarily water, right? Liquid flow, different forms of liquid, and the heat flow, like the plasma fire flow, like lava kind of heat flow. All this flow along with these energy flows. Energy also flows. That's the life force energy, we call it. And therefore, you will have different kind of, accordingly, the pipe size may be bigger because for a Vata nadi, you need a bigger amplitude. The amplitudes are bigger, right? So amplitudes are, I may have the slide. So the amplitudes for a Vata nadi are bigger like this. And for the
Dr.
Pitta,
Shan, what is this amplitude of?
amplitude of the flow of the air, water, the liquid, and the heat principle. So the they flow because they are fundamental energy particles. Remember, we are not looking from the whole thing like a liquid means liquid. We are looking at like the particle size, the tiny little particles. What is a fundamental particle? Like we are looking now, right now, air means like say oxygen, right? So oxygen is a molecular level. But what ancient sage scientists talk about is even if you break molecules and everything, there is a fundamental particle that will become the air. So it's all defined. So they all travel in like a wave particle theory. We call wave particle theory. Here it's all very quantum mechanical in nature. So they travel, they have an amplitude like waves, they will have an amplitude and there's a frequency, right? So that is how, it travel inside. So the amplitude, like you see the Vada amplitudes are bigger. That's what this is the same size I'm showing here just to show, different kind of Varma nadis. But basically this is what happens. The wave amplitude inside the Vada nadis are bigger. And then the Pitta nadi is like half of the size. So this is one, this is half, and this is quarter. So this is how the whole in body travels. So any blockage along with this, energy also flows. If the air block, energy also block. Then you will have Vayu related problems, Vata disorders. If the Pitta pipes are blocked, you have Pitta disorders. Or you have excess Pitta, then also you have Pitta disorders, like that. So the whole idea of the body's function happen at a very much fundamental level, right? So we have inside our body, there is also called the, the different nadis. For example, one of the very built nadis is called the Kundalini energy. In Kundalini energy, there's a Ida nadi, Pingala nadi. So left and right, that, right? Ida nadi and Pingala nadi is two different nadi system, but the nadis, they are not look like this actually. It's a very complicated circuit. But for making it easy, we have put this, and this is what is found in all the YouTube link and etc. So for order to get Varma knowledge, YouTube or anything, you don't rely on any of this because there is a deeper knowledge in original books, and that's missing. Okay, so any chakras and all these things. So they're deeper. So the tubes were very complicated. Idagala nadi doesn't go like this, or Ida nadi or Pingala nadi. Or even the Sulumani nadi doesn't go straight. So that pathways are very complicated. So this is an example of a super biomagnetic generator inside our body that can generate. It's called the Kundalini energy. So these are some of the things to know. And commonly, we'll see because of these activities, our activities, how we can damage some systems. So some of the activity injuries, like you have sports, injuries that are common injuries. If something, um, a piece of, nail hit your thing, or a hammer, hit your head. So you will have some damage there. That's a marma damage. It's not like necessarily you will have a marma damage. You will have a damage on the parts where the marma points are there and parts where there are no marma points. So these two things are different. If you have a part where the marma points are damaged, then it will be a serious thing. And within that point, if you have the 12 marma points damage, even bigger, much serious, highly serious. Some damage, for example, somebody can be killed after 48 days, 41 days, like that, if certain marma points are damaged. And they may not be knowing. I had a very close friend. I looked at, what happened. He passed away. He was in the critical care for 1 year and he passed away, Virginia, right? So we look at what happened. How did he pass away? He was very normal, healthy, very much volunteering to Siddha Veda activity. He was in the sky system, all very nice person, very nice person, right? But all of a sudden, these things happened. And if you look back, he fell in the bathroom, when he was cleaning the bathroom, they didn't notice that it affected on the Pallai Varmam. There's a Pallai Varmam is below the, on the left side of the left side here in below the what you call the ribs, right? So the particular Varma points have serious damage. So they show their effect only after some time. And we could tell this, but nobody will understand this unless you know the intricacies of the system. Okay. So same way somebody assaults like a little children, they fight and you can damage some Marma points very easily. Or you can have some little bit of a incident or an accident, then even, you can have a Marma damage. Sports, many injuries, sport injuries, you can have damages. Physical, because the 72,000 nadis are tied up in all the activities, everyday life, you will have some one way or the other, including psychological damages. Somebody like torturing every day, you can damage your Marma points, like, shouting at your kids or, husband shouting at the wife. All these things have sound also damages Marma. Thought also damages Marma points. There are many, many such Marma points in our body, all over the body. Right. So we teach one technique, but we don't have that kind of thing right now, but what is called the Marma Tantra meditation, right? We'll do a shorter version of this at the end. So the idea is to transfer. How we are transferring the energy in the system, you can transfer some energy and we can activate the Marma points from far away. Okay, so we'll go through, but in general, now I wanted to discuss about how in normal day activity, Marma, without our knowledge, we are using Marma, right? So like this kind of damages, how did our ancient forefathers found that Marma is useful? So how we know, we don't know how the damages happen. Similarly, how the health also, is getting better. There are some techniques. This is a typical, from my tradition where I belong, my grandparents, grandmothers and all look similar, right? This is the kind of, it's not my own grandparents. I put a nice picture of one of my friend, Raghu Jogi took this picture to show this. So here, the whole idea is that, how simply they lived. Look at, so everybody that is not reflected here is the men also wear like the earring. Women wear, both the nose ring and earring, right? And they had a particular things, like particular stone or anything, for a nose ring, they will have to have a particular stone, or they used to have like men used to have like a bangle here, like a bangle here. Women used to have a tight bangle and the copper bangle, right? And they used to have silver on the toes. So they understood the Vata Pitta Kapha nature of our body, and they accordingly to balance the body type, right? These are body types, like everybody has like a different body type according to the ancient knowledge. 3 types of bodies they talk about: body, mind. I think so, depending on the number of the energy particles. If you have more energy particles that are air based, then you belong to the Vada group. If the more energy particles on a fire based, then you're Pitta group, and more on the Kapha. So in the liquid based, then you're a Kapha. So accordingly, the properties, body type, like the body, you can be bulky, thin, short, medium, etc. Like that, the mind, the way we think, you may be thinking different from your wife because of the body type, and we may be not knowing that, right? So we may be thinking why she's thinking, against my thought process, why is she behaving like this, etc. But if you look at their body type is different. So that understanding, if you know this understanding, we will know how to live in this world. Different people are, we accept that, right? Different body types. Now, if you look at these Marma points, what they did was they stimulated these Marma points naturally getting the benefit. So some of the Marma points is the hearing. Classical example is the hearing. So in hearing, Sevikuti Varmam or Karanapalli Varmam, in the center of the ear lobes, you can see this. And it's also called the Deva Kurta Chidra, means fortunate natural creation point of piercing. So there is no capillary or any point here. So if you exactly pierce, no, even bleeding will not happen. There are only people who are trained in this can do this. Nowadays they may not be so accurately doing this. It gives eyesight and immunity to the body just by piercing, right? Titinous vertigo issue due to inner ear dysfunction, right? Yale University experiment, they did this headache and migraines, how they did the super brain exercise. It's all with the Varma. You do this, it's called the super brain, right? Exercise. It's also used for stress management, all those punishments like the people give. I mean, it's not the right way, but they pull the ear when he doesn't, function properly. They start to, the teachers, they pull the ear, that's to stimulate, and even like the little punishment they do is to do that kind of activity, right? So these are some of the benefits of this. There's another Karanapalli Varmam they use here. Many cultures wear in India and part of Asia. They wear one here, on the top of here. So that's also a Karanapalli too. So that's used for like a very yogi, like it's a yogi. It's for the wisdom, right? Creating it enhances the wisdom if you wear that. So these are some of the things to look at. And if you look at the nose ring is called the Sevikuti. I mean, it's not, sorry, Mukuti Varmam. It's not Sevikuti, sorry. So Mukutri Varmam or the Nasyaputa. So it's a door. So I'm talking about the Marma Varma connections. So it's the door, it's connected to the nasa mucous membrane and lungs, bronchi, and reproductive organs. That's why the Vajram, it's called the Vajram. It's attracted to the, it's connected to the ovaries, fallopian tubes, and the stronidum, Succulum stronidum, we call it, for the female reproductive, the essence, right? So that's why Vajram is taken. Those days they eat Vajram also. Also, they have Vajram is the diamond. So diamond is one of the auspicious thing for attracting the Atharva Arthava Veda Dhatu, right? So that Dhatu is what enhances the stronidum in our body. It enhances the ojas in the body. So they got this activated by just putting a diamond there. So the diamond, see every gem and all, what is the thing of gem? Why? I mean, these all are fake, etc. So you can tell that. But you look at see, when the planet was prepared, the Earth was prepared. Earth was prepared by before other planets came out and they spat out, all spitting out things from each planet. They form a beautiful Earth. The planet Earth has different components from different kind of planets and other part of the universe. So they are small part of that. So it's like our own babies, right? You are giving your own baby, you will always have a connection with your baby. Like that, the mother's connection, each planet will have certain, like, ruby or emerald, all these stones, different planet, they get connected to that, right? So they may even metals like that. So they have understood all these things, and accordingly they used it in different part of our body, so that without their knowledge they will get the benefit, right? So this knowledge is lost now. Even the how did you know, like lipsticks, right? Lipstick, where it was found? Lipstick was found in India only. So what is lipstick? Lipstick is nothing but those days they ate the betel nut. Betel nut is a Siddha medicine, right? In Ayurveda also, it is mentioned how to eat, how to do this. There is a way to consume that. Otherwise, you will have other problems. So there is a method. If the method is not known, if you don't use it as a medicine, you use it for all those gulabi and all these things you make for, bidas and all, then you will have problems. So there is a method how to take the betel leaf. So when you take it, consume regularly, a lot of problems are solved, women-related problems, etc. Men also. So they used to consume this every day, 3 times like that. And they will, what happens, the whole, your tongue gets like very, the lips get red. So looking at this, when the colonialism happened, people traveling from, the West, they saw, oh, this is beautiful. Women look beautiful. Why don't we do this something? And that's how lipstick, like artificial things, were formed. Okay, so these are some of the important Marma points to think about. And you can stimulate these Marma points, for example, right? And if you're not wearing anything, but if you have to wear, it has to be the right material. So it has to be gold, for example, gold in the earring. It should be gold. The reason is gold, and there is a requirement of gold to the brain. Gold is consumed. If you look at the weight of the gold, and as somebody is wearing for 70, 80 years, a lady wearing the gold earring, and you can measure when they die, if you measure the weight of that, you'll have 50% consumed. So gold, how to take gold? This is one way of transdermal drug, like gold delivery. So you cannot directly take gold. There is either you have to make it Tangapashpam. There are other things, alchemy is involved if you want to take gold and vajram, diamond, etc. So the one way is to send it through the ears to the brain. So this is the way it will consume slowly. There is some marmanadi suck in, the tube suck in and goes to they see the connection between the ears to this point. Okay. So now this application, there are many Marma points. One Marma point is the Stabani Marmam. See, here is a Tilartakala Varmam is a reference here, right? From here, if you take like 1.5 fingers, there's another Marma point, right? This Marma point is also called, this has many benefits. So we'll do one Marma point, right? How do we get this benefit? By inducing that Marma point. So mostly we will use Tilartha column, like, the sacred ash or kumkum or any other thing, or you touch these points many times in temples, or, you're falling down, all these things, they stimulate this particular point. This particular point is connected to many, because there are many Marma points across, around, all the way to the top, right? So here is a Tilartha Kalavarmam. Somewhere there's some little bit of overlap of these two things, because many Marmas are there. There is Balachandra Varmam is there, many others. So here this is Tapani Marmam. It's almost like one finger above the Tilatakara Varmam, and a little bit above is the Balachandra Varmam, and it keeps going, there are different Marma points. So here slightly different benefits are there, but one particular reference is the Sapani Marmam, is the Pottu Varmam, I can call it, right? Nitri Varmam, you're right. So this Marma point can be simulated. You can get many benefits, right? So we'll look into the benefits. So the way, like if you're meditating and if you're doing this, you will, if you're not meditating, it will be on the left side kind of thing. The Marma cannot penetrate. If you're doing some meditation, that is, you learn our Marma techniques. There is a Marma Yantra. That's what I told, Marma Yantra meditations. Then if you do this, you will have much more benefits, because through induction, you will be forming a laser beam, like a biomagnetic laser beam from your finger that can penetrate deep into this, and then they activate different Marma points inside us. Okay, so that you can attend our other courses for this, right? You will be able to, uh, you know, uh, then you will be able to activate that properly. Okay, so right now, even without that, there will be benefit, definitely. And some people naturally have that capability of like high energy, inductive powers. If their biomagnetic body, the causal body is very strong, they can do this, right? So we'll touch that particular Marma point. Take like one finger above. So keep one finger above and touch this Marma point. Close your eyes. Just touch with your index finger. One finger from the point where the eyebrows and the nose meet. That's the point, right? That's called the Tilatakala Varma. From there, one finger above, you can keep, right? Your index finger touch, gentle touch. 30 seconds. 30 counts, like pulse count. Feel the pulse on your You can remove your hands, join your hands together. All Marma exercise, you do meditations, all are like joined hands, because you don't want to lose the biomagnetism, or keep your hand, one left hand down and above it, right hand on top of your left hand like this. Close it. It's a closed circuit. And then just focus on that point, Tapani Marma. Now you can keep it very close. Don't touch it. Same point. You can keep it very close. It's called induction. Induction is powerful. Like a half finger distance away, with half finger width distance away, you can keep it very close and just focus on that point. Thirty seconds. Now bring your hands down and focus at that point. Don't worry about any thoughts coming. Just disregard of those thoughts. Every day you can think, but this time to be very mindful. Just focus on the energy there. Now one more time, keep it very close. Now you do circulations like tiny little, clockwise 3 times, anti-clockwise 3 times, and again clockwise 3 times. And the circulation. And then you keep it close for some time. Give a gap. And again you do circulation. Gentle, small circles, tiny, tiny circle. Don't do big ones. Very tiny, like you're doing a touchpad. Clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, and feel connection between finger on this point. Use some gap. Stay there. Finger fixed. Again, you do the tiny circulation. Bring your hands down, focus that point. Feel the vibrations. Now, let this energy allow the body like as if you're taking a shower in. Visualize the body from top to down. You can just breathe in, and as you breathe out, spread it all over the body. Bring your thought all over the body. Breathe in up, breathe out. Do this like 9 times. Breathe in, breathe out to the entire body. Now gently rub your hand. Do eye palming. Eye palming is the center of your palms on your eyes closed. Gently. .30 seconds. This itself is a Marma exercise only. Energizing your eyes. Then gently rub your nose, like with your pinky, bring it down the corner of the nose, and then rub your face upward. And bring your hand behind your head. and then spread your energy all over the body. Just rub your body like this. So this is one simple Marma point. There are a lot of benefits. It will bring the mind to calm. It studies the fluctuations of thought and emotions, and you'll have inner peace. It's connected to the hypothalamus, frontal lobe, and pituitary pineal gland. Mainly the pituitary gland will function very well. This case, eye disorders, headaches, and all can be cured if you do this for some time. If you have headache, there are 10 different types of headache. Especially this headache will be good for when you have like cold-based headache, or you have a headache because of lack of energy, like you worked hard, and you coming home, you have an headache every day, you can do this, right? And it's also release stress, and every day you do this for a few minutes, it'll release stress for 1 minute, 2 minutes before going, starting a car, you can do like once. You're sitting in starting your work, you can do for three minutes and start your work like that, small stimulations. Like, so that's why our ancestors, they used to have the bindi and all. So nowadays bindi is like they are artificial, right? So you're not wearing. So the idea is that these Marma points acts as like access nodes, right? Accessing not only the biomagnetic energy, but also they are access nodes for different medicines, like oil. Particular oil can be used, particular like kumkum and other. Kumkum is like made up of the calcium carbonate, the chunnam, and then the turmeric, right? So if you put that, it gets observed like chandanam, right? Chandan, so the sandal gets observed through this point, and it'll go to the necessary organs to either cool down chandanadi thailam, for example, right? It cools your body. So this particular Marma point, if you, whatever you put, it will observe and it will give a benefit to the organs. So the nadis, it gets into nadis. Suppose you're having a bindi, women wear bindi with like the sticker. So it will slowly absorb the formaldehyde from that, and it will damage all the different organs, giving you the negative benefit. So why you have to do, that's the reason, like why you are doing this, understand that. And if you do that, traditionally, if you use those kind of things, why our traditions have done, why they need that, it's not for beautification, you look beautiful, all those things. They all have valuable things. So if you do it properly, then you will have the benefit. So don't underestimate, it's not about God or anything. It's like, it is divine thing, but it is nothing to do with the ritual thing. These all are Marma points. Marma points are made for anybody in the world to benefit. Okay. So the same things like were used like acupressure. I told you acupressure and all is called Marma Mudra Priyogam. You can use on a hand applications, right? So if you look at, like your head, if you have a headache, say if you press this point, right? This is connected to the head, the thumb. So if you press this point for some time, the headache, you can relieve a headache. This Marma point on the thumb, right? Keep it for a few minutes. If anybody has a headache, you can try this. Just keep this, thumb press. So these are on our legs and hands, what we are doing is not just acupressure, you're just separating it like acupressure. These all are also Marma. I teach this in my effective Marma course. So if you're interested, you can take those courses. We'll share the link right now. There are many upcoming courses we concentrate on, because it's a huge subject. So we break down into different things. If you need to know like back pain, what do you do? Like, if you want to work with the nadis, if you want to understand nadis, there are different workshops, because we cannot cover that much in one day. So these are some points, you can use, but these are theoretical points, but how to use in Marma way, with the original knowledge, we give in that course, right? And also in that course, we will talk about, the science of cavity, like the head, the midbrain. So all these things we did recently, how Marma points are distributed around the brain, etc. Right? So we talk about a lot of other things also, which which is covered in our course. But right now, we have our workshop, so you can click into these advanced workshops are there. So you can click into any of these workshop. We will share that in the chat. Right now I'm open for any questions due to the time, but then if you have any further thing, then I will answer. So these are some of the workshops that we have. This is a workshop for the knees. There's a workshop for the dental care, and then there's a workshop for the eyes. It's a workshop all through using Marma, right? Marma and in natural techniques, and also for the hearing, and then also for the psychological healing. So these are some of the things that we have. So with this, I'm going to go for some questions where our time is up, I think. But anybody with any questions, somebody raised your hand, please go ahead, Sarvan Kumar, kindly, please.
Uh, Vanakkam, sir.
Vanakkam, vanakkam.
Actually, I'm North Indian,
Okay,
doing in South India PhD in Annamalai University.
wonderful.
My subject is also same Tirumula, and my question is like how ancient wisdom and model health science is interconnecting it. Can you explain me, sir, or can you give me some idea that how to it will be connected?
So you have to see, there are two perspectives. So one is, and did I stop? Okay. So the one is that you have to independently look at, for example, you have some emotions, right? So, so emotions like, you have a dopamine, right? For example, secretions. You can find the connection between modern by if you triggering a particular nadi, right? See what happens. So if you're doing this, I said, it's also psychological impacts. If you're doing this, and if you look at the secretions of some hormones in your body, right? Even if you're looking at determining the melatonin or any other thing, then you can find the connection between modern. Not necessarily, but the science by itself is deeper, ancient science. This is an advanced biology. So that is called the indigenous science building, because that axioms are missing in the modern science. You would not be able to explain everything using modern science right now. That's not possible, because modern science has limitations in their science, how it is structured. It's like how you're building a house. See, here you're building in the United States, we build the house with all scrap materials, things like that. And for my kids, if I say, this is how the house was built in India, they wouldn't know. They have to see and go to India. Oh, this is brick. They put the cement here, we build it. But both are houses. For them, what they think is that house means it has to be like United States. This is how, the houses will build, their assumption. So that's a wrong assumption. So this science does not see the other science. Both are houses, right? Both are sciences. So that fundamentals are different. It's a building block is different. So science is made up of a lot of assumptions only, right? So cellular biology, from cellular biology, we need to shift to femtobiology, right? But now it is possible. You can use the advanced words and bring that. You can document it. We have strong evidence in ancient science. You can take biostatistics research. If you are doing some particular thing on Tirumular, you are particularly doing in Tirumular pranayamam, for example, right? If Tirumular pranayamam is done, if you're able to scale it, Tirumular gives like the 1 angular distance. This can be measured, for example, right? He says 1 angula, 12 angular distance is the breadth, for example, right? If you put a tube and then ask them to breathe, then we'll see how much force it goes, exerts, to the tube. And after that, it sparsely goes. So you can make some kind of thing that we can use modern things to do that. It's not that we cannot, but you have to go to the fundamental research, then you can prove many things. Yeah. Any other
Okay,
questions?
thank you, sir. Any reference you can give me that if I can go through it?
A lot of references, sir. It's all in the, unfortunately, very Tamil language, very limited knowledge. We can provide you some, I mean, if you, some of our classes, if you take, we give you references, you can attend those classes. Because many things I have translated into English. Very few people who translate, and most of the, the Tamil language, they are like very much closed. They're not bringing it outside Tamil Nadu. It's a challenge there, right? So that's not coming out. So now it is time for people to learn. So we are trying to, bring it here. So yes. I will, I'll send you an email. You send me share an email, like my email will be here, so you can connect with me.
What I suggest is
Yeah.
if you can join the community, if you join the community, you can put this up and Dr. Shan can reply in the community.
Yeah. So join the community. There's a WhatsApp group community for health, natural health. So you can join that community, right? And we can take it from there. Yeah.
Also in the chat, they have put in the different workshop that Dr. Shan is planning to hold. The first one is on the knee pain, and they're all 2025 this year, not by mistake. They must have put 2024, but it's 2025. So the next Sunday, the 2nd of March, will be the first workshop on how to manage if you have a knee problem, a knee pain problem.
Well, I
How do
think
you
they
manage
put,
it?
sorry, I think there was a mistake in the date, I think 2024. So that's why they're asking. It's all 2025.
Yeah, that's saying it's 2025. Yeah, 2nd
Yeah.
of March, 2025 is a Sunday. It's the
Yes.
same time, 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, and 8:30 p.m. in India time.
Okay.
Anybody else has any
Yeah, they have
questions?
a question. So Senthil, upon Murugesh, other than knee pain workshop dates are okay. For remaining workshop, okay. Sir, in class we learn pulse diagnosis, and according to pulse we select Varma points. Yeah. So the pulse diagnosis is very important, and we can see, like, for example, a lot of data on the pulse. If I have it, I can show you right now.
I mean, you're also planning a pulse diagnosis workshop. The
Yeah, I
date is
am.
not
Yeah,
decided.
right.
So
Yes,
I think
we are.
very
We are doing a pulse diagnosis workshop, but I can, maybe if I have the slide, I'll show you in a bit. I have some things in another slide. Let me check. Yeah, the pulse, we have a lot of things on pulse. So this is effective. Yeah, any other questions before that? Like, I'm just opening up
asking
that.
about diabetes. Are there any Marma points for diabetes? There's a yoga therapist
Yeah,
asking
well,
this
there are
question.
Marma points for diabetes control, but overall diabetes need a bigger thing. But there are control Marma points in the stomach area. I take this in one of the effective Marma courses. There are diabetes points. So around the Nabi, there are points that you can control, right? So there are at least 3 key Marma points around the Nabi, and there is a typical, I'm not just telling you touch that point. There are other connections. It's a complicated, so that's why I cannot give you right away that point. So we'll be running the workshop depending on how many people need what. Say, for example, if 10 of you wanted, like, diabetes, we can do a complete diabetes workshop. So that's why we want you to join in the group, so we'll know what your requirements, and accordingly we can do many workshops. Yeah.
Yeah, the other question here is, does this have to be practiced always, or once it is fixed, you can stop?
Um, yeah, well, this kind of Marma points, they can be gently used, like very, very gentle. I told you, like without keeping close and all. They are very effective. So they are preventive also. So certain things on wearing a bindi or something, like a natural thing, is preventive. So it will not damage you. Okay. So you can definitely use that every time. Yeah, you don't overstimulate some Marma points. You don't want to overstimulate. If you're feeling overstimulated, then you can, there is a Varma point at the tip of your tailbone. If you keep at the tip of the tailbone, you can stimulate, right? Keep your finger downward and, just keep your hand downward like this, it'll cool down. And, or you also, there is a point in the center of this, your, the elbow here, you can, here, you can keep your hand here, like in the, um, use your thumb here for some time. The energy drops down, if you feel like very highly energetic, the Marma. Okay.
I think we are running out of time. Is there anybody else who has any more questions? Otherwise, if you're in the community, if you join the community, then you can always post more questions and Dr. Shan can reply to them. So
Yeah,
that's what I do. I ask him questions through there.
right. I had some point. Okay. So, yeah, I have it, I guess. I'll just quickly show you that pulse thing, I was asking one of the, I share. So we have things on the pulse, just that I'm sharing now. We have an entire course for that. I'm sorry. Something. Taking its own time. Microsoft. Hmm. Oh. Okay. Somewhere here. Open. Yeah, many nowadays like Vada time, what time you have to do, Vada pulse, etc. Or Valialal, what kind of disease you have, like a particular Vada time, So particular pulse. And when you use what pulse, right? Circadian rhythm, Palialalayam, all this, you probably know these things, right? A nadi in the 6 primary taste, how it is connected to the nadis. All these things will
So
be
Dr. Shan, there's another question here. It
right.
says, how confident I can be in choosing right Marma point as these workshops are online? Because workshops are being done online.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
will you show them? How will they?
Yeah, you can
How will you
confidently use
convince
the
them?
Marma points, because Marma point metrics are, it's called relative unit. The length is a relative unit. So how we measure the length is the angular system. So it's relative to you. So you will not make any mistakes. So for example, from ear to ear is 1 finger distance, is just your own finger distance. Keep the width, of your index finger. So that's the 1 finger. So you will not, but the Marma points are really very tiny, tiny though. you're not going to make a pointed contact. So it's so tiny that even if you touch here, you will be touching many points basically. So it's not that you have to be so accurate, but you have to be close accurate. For example, this point, there's a dip, it's called Nakshatra Kalam. There's a dip here. You will know this is the point. So like that, there are standard points. From there, you can take measurements, Varma, right? Kandanadi. So from there, you can take Marma points. They distribute like that. So you will not make mistake. Far away or close, it doesn't matter. So we'll teach you all those things, like how to make measurements and all their classes.
I think we can close now and we can have more Q&A in the community.
Yeah, you join the community. Don't forget to join the community. You can have Q&A and we'll have many workshops, that are very useful. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shan.
Thank you. Thank you.